Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I wanted to share 5 things that my Black male therapy clients have had in common. And this is again in keeping with the other video I posted with 5 things that we can all do to help improve Black male mental health. Because there are so many misconceptions, so many ideas, so many thoughts, so many beliefs on who is the person who seeks help or what that person looks like, that, and of course so many negative ideas about them that makes a lot of people shy away from getting the help when they need it. So today I wanted to share 5 things that my therapy clients who have been Black male have had in common. First is that they were usually up or on their way up when speaking success-wise. They were either successful already or on their way to being super successful. Because a lot of times people think it's that guy who doesn't have much going on. That guy, if I'm strong, if I'm successful, I don't need mental health services. I shouldn't need mental health services, but with the man that is succeeding or on his way to greater success, one of the things that I found was that they had added pressure because they were battling in so many different worlds. There were so many things going on that they actually needed the support even more because they were on that path of success, because they were succeeding at such high levels. 2, they were generally pillars of strength. They were the guy that other people look to, the guy that other people come to with their issues. They were strong men. That I can say is pretty much been the case for, I think just about every Black male client I've had has been a strong man. And generally they give you this idea that of weakness. But it turns out that the people that I was getting, the Black males that I was getting were generally pretty strong. Not only strong enough for them, they were strong enough to be strong for others in their lives. Other people in their lives were coming to them with their issues. And of course, you know that when you're the one who takes it for everyone else, once in a while, it gets to be too much and you need to take some of the load off. So they were pretty strong enough that other people were feeding off of their strength. They took ownership of themselves, their environment, their community, the things around them. I found that they were generally people who are doing things not just for themselves, but doing things in the community. When they were that, I found them to be the type of guy who didn't just see the issue, but saw the issue and sought solutions. They weren't the guy who complains about everything. It was more the guy who's actively engaged in doing something about whatever the issue is. They took ownership of themselves, ownership of their community, ownership of the environment around them, making sure they were creating the environment they wanted to be in. They were usually either mentored or being mentored or mentoring, or a combination of the two, meaning that they had a mentor and they were a mentor to someone else. I found them to have great leadership leadership skills, and they were generally the type of guy who's again, what you find with that community guy who always wants to help the next generation. It wasn't enough for them to have, I'm succeeding. It was more of I'm succeeding, so what do I do so that when I'm gone, someone else is here. And they were all, again, keeping with their investment in self. They were always looking for that knowledge. They were always looking for the next thing that can and should and need to be done, or the next thing that they're going to be doing. So they had mentors and they often mentored others. And finally, they had strong self-esteem, and there were people who invested in themselves. A great misconception is that, and I hear that too much, where people think that because you're if you're in therapy, it's because you have low self-esteem. It's because something is wrong with you. No, these men generally had pretty strong self-esteem because they were doing things, they were doing a lot. It's just that, sometimes, like I said, it is more than you can handle. And when you are doing a lot, it is so much easier to get to that point where it is more than you can handle. And they were strong enough to realize that, hey, I don't have to shoulder this burden by myself, because what often happens when people try to handle everything by themselves is that it takes away from what they need to be doing or what they should be or could be doing. So they were strong enough in who they were. They were confident enough in who they were that they felt that they were able to get help and know that what did not take away from who they were, but instead enriched who they were and what they were doing. Because therapy is a growing process. You don't just sit there and talk to somebody about, hey, this is what's going on. As you're having these conversations, you're coming with solutions, you're finding solutions, you're finding resources, you're learning, you're growing, and they thrived on that. Quick recap. 1, they were usually succeeding or on their way to that great success that they were working towards. 2, they were pillars of strength. The guy who's not just strong enough for himself, but so strong that others around sought his strength. 3, they took ownership of themselves, their environment, their community. If they were the guy who, if he sees a problem, he fixes it, or he finds a way to fix it. They were usually mentors, as well as they had mentor, or they were doing a combination of the two, where they had a mentor and they had a mentee that they were mentoring as well. And finally, they had strong sense of self-esteem. They had enough confidence that they felt that they could get help and that they would still be okay with that. I hope this made up for the super long last video. And as always, if you're dealing with something that is more than you can handle, please do reach out and get help, because there's so much of it out there. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.